Forgiveness is critical to flourishing because it empowers individuals, relationships, and communities. The experience of being wronged is very common in the population, and we know from our studies and from those of others that forgiveness powerfully affects mental health and well-being. And so if we are able to promote forgiveness and thereby mental health, we can help shape and improve the mental health of populations all around the world. My name is Tyler Vanderweel. I'm the Loeb Professor of Epidemiology at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and Director of the Human Flourishing Program. The Human Flourishing Program at Harvard University aims to study and promote human flourishing around the world, and to do so in an interdisciplinary manner. We define flourishing as the relative attainment of a state in which all aspects of a person's life are good, including the contexts and communities and environments in which that person lives. Forgiveness can be defined as replacing ill will towards an offender with goodwill. Understood in this way, forgiveness is distinct from reconciliation or from foregoing justice. We can forgive and still pursue a just outcome. It's simply a releasing of that ill will towards the offender. And forgiveness is needed in our relationships. We've been serious about studying and promoting forgiveness for many years.
A large body of research, including our own studies, suggests that greater forgiveness is related to better psychological well-being, better mental health, and better social well-being. The Nurses' Health Study shows us the power of forgiveness. The Nurses' Health Study is a trustworthy data set for its rigorous study design. For example, it has a large sample of participants, and also it follows participants over time for many years. This allows us to examine how earlier life experience, such as forgiveness, can affect health and well-being years later. The Nurses' Health Study measured the three aspects of forgiveness, including forgiveness of others, how often they have tried to forgive themselves, and how often they feel forgiven by a higher power. These kind of questions help us to quantify the level of forgiveness. In our study, we saw that a greater forgiveness is associated with a better psychological well-being, such as greater positive affect, and also less mental distress, such as lower levels of depression and anxiety, and also greater social well-being, such as more volunteering and also greater social integration.
Our Global Flourishing Study has indicated that struggles with forgiveness are common. The Global Flourishing Study is a study of over 200,000 individuals in 22 different countries, representing about 2/3 of the world's population.
We found that, on average, about 75% of individuals across the different countries said that they had often or always forgiven those who've hurt them. But we also found at the same time that about 25% of individuals said that they'd rarely or never forgiven those who've hurt them. This is concerning because we know that unforgiveness has potential negative health and well-being implications. Lots of people would like to forgive, but they also struggle for various reasons to experience forgiveness. Fortunately, we have various kinds of resources available to support people's forgiveness journeys, one of which is the REACH Forgiveness Workbook. Professor Everett Worthington has pioneered research on the psychology of forgiveness and made many contributions to this area of the literature. Professor Worthington drew on his research and clinical practice to develop the REACH Forgiveness model that he then converted to a REACH Forgiveness Workbook.
The randomized trial of the REACH Forgiveness Workbook was a trial of about 4,500 participants in 5 relatively high-conflict countries: Colombia, South Africa, Ukraine, Indonesia, and Hong Kong. And we randomized individuals to receive the forgiveness workbook immediately or not. We followed them up 2 weeks later, and we found that those who had received the forgiveness workbook did indeed have higher levels of forgiveness, but also lower levels of depression and anxiety, higher levels of hope, and higher levels of flourishing. The randomized trial provided definitive evidence that the REACH Forgiveness Workbook powerfully contributed to mental health and flourishing.
The study showed that the Reach Forgiveness workbook was effective in promoting forgiveness across the 5 different countries, providing further evidence that forgiveness is highly valued across different cultures, and that the benefits of this workbook can transcend different cultures and contexts around the world.
And so it was those considerations that led us at the Human Flourishing Program to launch a global forgiveness movement. The global forgiveness movement attempts to use evidence-based interventions to help make the world a more forgiving and loving place.